This is Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in the Inland Empire today, joined by Danny Tillman. He is a trustee with the San Bernardino City Unified School District. I'd like to talk to you about the mood among students at San Bernardino City Unified. I know you have a large Latino population. About 75% of your students are Latino. And it's fair to say that Latino students have been nervous since the election of our new president. What are you hearing, seeing?
We hear it and we feel it ourselves, but our district has done everything to ensure our students and parents that nothing has changed since the election of Donald Trump in terms of the safety, and when kids come to school, they can rest assured that no one's going to come on campus and try to take them away.
But let's talk about that, because I believe you. Right. I don't think we're going to start seeing immigration agents flooding onto school campuses. Right. But, you know, children are tender, and I don't know that they necessarily understand the gradations, the distinctions.
Right.
And so I remember reading right after the election, a fifth grader in LAUSD said, and she's a Latina, people don't really like us. And so the perception may not line up with the reality, and I'm wondering, how does a school district talk to these students? You know, they may be documented, but their mother may not, or their aunt may not.
Well, the good thing about our district, the board makeup is out of the 7 board members, probably 6 of them are minorities.
Okay.
So 2 Hispanics, 3 African Americans. I don't know what Scott White is.
It's all good. It's all good.
Right, but and if you come to one of our board meetings, you would immediately get the sense that we care about all our kids.
Sure.
And we have and we've have been through it backwards to ensure all families that we support them, including undocumented families.
But are you, for example, putting more mental health professionals in the classroom or available on campus? Or maybe you don't need to. Maybe everything has settled down a bit.
Well, the good thing for us, we have a lot of partners in the community. For instance, ELAC, which are the parents who work with students who are ESL. They've been involved, and then with the new parent engagement, because of local control funding and the LCAP, we've built up relationships throughout our district with the different communities. So it's not something we have to try to do now. And what's even better is we have a relationship, and the parents and the students have a lot of confidence in our leadership.
I want to talk about declarations that certain school districts have made. What we know is the superintendent of public instruction, the statewide superintendent, Tom Torlakson, has said that he will not allow public schools to become an arm of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. He has urged all school districts to become safe havens. Words matter here. Apparently, there could be a safe zone declaration, a safe haven declaration, a sanctuary declaration. Where has San Bernardino City Unified come down on this question?
We actually voted on a resolution to ensure our parents that they're going to be safe. I think the important part is, even everything I've read, even that comes out of the Trump administration, even as late as just yesterday, they mentioned that there's no intention of going onto schools or churches to deport people. So I think we do people a disservice to act like that's an issue right now. If that ever became an issue, or if it ever actually happened, then I guarantee our district would double back to find ways to ensure that we can make our kids safe.
But have you made a declaration either as sanctuary, safe haven?
Safe haven.
Okay.
We specifically did not say sanctuary. And for me, if I were going to declare that our site was a sanctuary site, it would only be after we talked to legal counsel and found out that we had the legal authority to ensure that people are safe. I'm not going to tell people that I can guarantee them that the federal government cannot come on my campus unless I've been told by some type of legal counsel that we have the authority to do that.
Well, it's interesting that your district, and you're not alone, has chosen those words, because sanctuary has really become to some a dirty word. I mean, we see polls coming out that folks oppose sanctuary declarations, but I remember saying, I was watching CNN, and there was a town hall with Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, and a guest in the town hall came out and said that her son had been killed by someone who was undocumented. Devastating, tragic. And it was clear to me that she thought sanctuary meant that if you're a sanctuary city, you harbor criminals.
No,
that's not what it means.
No one's thinking that, right?
I mean, if you're a criminal, you're gone.
And everybody wants you gone.
Right.
I agree.
And so I wonder if the proponents of safe haven, safe zone, sanctuary need to really consider what the perception is out there, because sanctuary means something.
No, but I think what's even more important, I think it's totally unfair to somehow say that a person that kills somebody is a good representation of our undocumented population. If you look at the statistics for undocumented population, their crime rate is much lower than that.
We know that to be true.
Right.
That's a statistical fact.
So I saw a show, and somebody was talking just this morning on one of the news channels about Dylan Roof. And Dylan Roof was a white, alt-right person. So does that mean that you're going to deport all white people and make sure they can't come on campuses?
Well, there's no question.
You
may remember that in San Francisco there was a young woman named, I think it's Catherine Steinle, and she was killed by someone who was undocumented, and that really kind of set the whole.
But I think unfairly though, because that person does not represent the majority of that population. Your chances of getting killed by someone in your family or somebody that you know is much greater than you getting killed by somebody who's an undocumented immigrant. But I will say this: I'm not saying that to excuse the killers who happen to be undocumented. I just think it's unfair that to use that as a reason for deporting students. I tell you, to me, the tragedy is this: I can't believe that we would be thinking about deporting someone who came here when they were 2. They're now 25. They have kids. The kids have their grandparents, and you would actually consider deporting that person.
Well, what we know, sir, is that the Trump administration has been very clear that while they're not necessarily going to want to unwind DACA, which is the program that protects kids brought here prior to their, I think, 15th birthday, they see those eligible for deportation, not only those that have been convicted, but those that may be charged. They think they're going to be charged. They took welfare benefits improperly. I mean, the deportation definition is very broad. And so what are your parents saying?
Well, the parents are concerned, but let me say this to you. I'll give you another thing that I worry about. Our district has a school police department.
Right.
We have it to ensure the safety of our students. The problem with that, when my school police officer arrives and writes a ticket, that ticket becomes a misdemeanor or a felony. So I could actually have someone get on the list for deportation because they did like I did when I was in high school and got in a fight with my best friend. But when I was in high school, we didn't write citations, so I didn't get a misdemeanor assault. But that could turn into a misdemeanor assault, and based on that, you would deport that student, which is crazy to me.
It's very clear that that's what the Trump guidance says.
Which is not good, though.
So what does San Bernardino City do?
So I brought it up at our last board meeting, and we have to find a way to make sure that we take issuing those tickets seriously, because they have strong consequences now. And we all agree that most of the things those students do at school should not be criminalized. So we're looking at minimizing and changing the policy to minimize the number of citations that turn into misdemeanor and felony, because it is that important now.
At the same time, how do you make sure you have a strong stick to make sure that children realize the consequences of their actions?
Oh, and they do. But it has to be a fair punishment. When I got in a fight with my best friend Richard because he socked me in my jaw the day before and I had to get revenge, the punishment should not be deportation from the country.
I understand. His name is Danny Tillman. He is a trustee with the San Bernardino City Unified School District. My name is Brad Pomerance in the Inland Empire. Today, this is Local Edition.